It would take us about 35 hours to drive back to Charlotte, North Carolina right now, but carrying this thing, it would probably take us more like 45. And it's a bit nerve-wracking to think about. So let's talk about what it's like being 2,000 miles away from home. And while we talk to you about our journey from Charlotte, North Carolina to California, we're gonna take you on a little trip to Joshua National Park today. Make sure we turn off all the lights. Awful looking beastie today, I love it. Uh-oh, Instagram model out in the wild. So that's how close the spots are. You can't park in adjacent spots over there because that's a whole different site. But you gotta get real close. So Jessica, can you even get in over there?
Nope.
Eager, because gas is like $5.25 out here. So. We're gonna go try out the, what is this? The Broken Yoke Cafe? Little breakfast and lunch spot before we hit the trails.
I'm kind of torn. I really want this mom omelet or this avocado toast.
So we just got to Cali about a week ago, and what are some of your first impressions so far?
So Palm Springs is very beautiful. Because when you say Cali, I think of like immediately
Hollywood,
LA.
You know, the Hollywood sign,
I'm
of
not
course.
a fan of LA. I feel like they lied to me in the movies, but like, you know, that's what it is. It's a movie. But I love Palm Springs. It's very clean. Lots of palm trees everywhere.
The city is like the 10,000 palms is what it's named after. That's why it's named Palm Springs, by the way. For anybody who didn't know, like me, I didn't know. I had to Google why is it called Palm Springs.
I mean, but you come here and you see so many palms. It's like, oh,
No, it's beautiful.
That's why.
It's absolutely gorgeous out here.
No, but it is beautiful. I do love it. It is quiet. It's peaceful.
So far.
So far, anyway. The people we've met are also pretty friendly.
And when you drive 2,000 miles anywhere, there are bound to be hiccups along the way. And some of the major hiccups, which weren't really major hiccups, they were just things that kind of annoyed us, was we drove through 2 dust storms on the way from Texas to Arizona, and that knocked off our water heater door panel, which we didn't even realize until we got to a Camping World. The reason it was kind of annoying is because at the time, when we got to our location in Arizona, it was supposed to rain that night, and I was so worried about having essentially the computer of the water heater rained on and damaged, and we didn't have a door panel for it. But luckily, Amazon got it there the next day, and we got it put on right in time for the rainstorm to come.
How was your Broken Yoke?
Yes.
She don't even know the name of it. She just ate there. So Joshua Tree is kind of a confusing national park because when you get up close to it, we have maybe about a mile left to go, and we're still in like an urban area. Like we're still passing by houses and stuff. Don't feel like I'm next to a national park just yet. So now we just gotta find the trailhead here. That's all. Just has to get a sticker and a magnet. So some of the preconceptions we've had about California is obviously the price. Everything's expensive. We've heard something about like the crimes in the cities and just like stuff like that. But as far as the pricing, we definitely noticed the bumper sticker price at the gas pump, and it was a little higher. I mean, we're spending probably about $120 in gas each time. I think it's the sand. That's why I'm out of breath. It's the sand. It's like it's real loose sand, like beach sand. Like you really gotta work your way through that. And what about you? Any other preconceptions you had coming from North Carolina?
When you think of California, you think LA, Hollywood.
I mean, Hollywood is plastered everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just that. We were saying that at Palm Springs, it's beautiful. You're surrounded by mountains in the backdrop, like everywhere. It's clean. Personally, I enjoy it. I should see myself actually living here. It's just a little expensive when it comes to gas.
That's big coming from Jess. If she can live somewhere, she hasn't really gone to a spot where she could live just yet.
I don't know, Utah is pretty.
But other than the gas, everything out here in California seems to be pretty pleasant. We're actually pretty surprised on how much we like it so far.
At least in Palm Springs.
At least in Palm Springs. Jess has noticed that the West Coast trails don't really mark the trails that well. Back on the East Coast, they do. They have trailblazers everywhere, but on the West Coast, it looks. I'm not sure why. Maybe we need to research that. Why don't they, mark the trails too well out here? I'm not even sure what kind of. Is that a young Joshua tree up there?
And we have come across 3 places that we would definitely come check out again. And one is obviously Big Bend, Texas. That was a beautiful spot that honestly you can't really get too much of. And another spot that we would definitely be back to is the Kaibab Paiute Indian Reservation. And hopefully we can make a group trip out of it next time that we go. And you have Zion, you have the Wave, you have Bryce Canyon, you have the Grand Canyon right there. I mean, there's so much to do in that one little spot, but beware, you are closer to national parks than you are an actual grocery store. And the last one so far, we would definitely be back to Palm Springs. I mean, this is a great little spot. Like I said, it's very surprised on how receptive we were to this place. It's warm, that's always a benefit. And you got Joshua Tree right there in your backyard, which honestly, we weren't too keen on Joshua Tree, but after taking a stroll through it yesterday, beautiful.
So, Jess gave up on the hike.
Jess?
It's not her favorite.
Jess.
And we're just gonna turn around. We're just gonna take a drive through it.
Jameson's about to come out, bro.
So yeah, I mean, she was complaining the whole time that this hike isn't her favorite. It was just X, Y, and Z. And you wanna tell them how it wasn't your favorite?
First, yes, okay, it's not my favorite.
All right, you got your word in.
First of all, yes, it was not my favorite, but I am the best fiance, so I said, you know, Trey really wants to go.
She was complaining the whole time.
Wants to check it out. I was not.
She was like, do we really gotta do it?
Well, he kept saying, like, isn't it beautiful? And I'm like, eh.
She said she misses Zion. It's not her favorite.
Oh, shut up.
And our least favorite spot so far definitely has to be Alamo Palms, where we started the journey off and begin with. And we probably won't be back there. I mean, honestly, it just wasn't our thing. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff to do. It's a great town to be in, but honestly, it wasn't vibing. You know what I'm saying? And the next one we probably wouldn't visit again is probably Sonota, Arizona. Simply because if you don't have an onboard washer, if you don't have like stocked up on groceries, everything is an hour away. That was just it just got old after a while, having to drive an hour into town each way, each time you wanted to go do something. And it was very limited in terms of the restaurants there. There was like 1 or 2 good ones, but everything was you had to pay for those 1 or 2 good ones.
And for everybody who's new here, just know we never typically give up on hikes. This is actually the first one we've just kind of turned around on. But coming from Zion, this was like, not a letdown, but it's not as enticing to follow through with the hiking. Plus, we did get a late start, so I don't even think I can consider myself a hiker. I gotta take this off.
Fake.
If I'm being completely honest, it still feels so weird being out here. Nearly 4 months in, and we are both still adjusting to being in a new spot every couple of weeks. And personally, I find myself a little anxious at times, but that just might be from still adjusting to being a nomad and not knowing my way around and having to use the GPS just to go down the road. But the good news is, we are getting the hang of things, and we truly feel like we are out here in our own element, traveling the states and checking off our little map slowly but surely. So that's it, guys. 2,000 miles away from home, and that's how we feel about it. From here, we head up through California for a good month and a half or so, and in a couple of weeks, Jess leaves me for a week, which I think she's gonna miss us. And so if you've gained any insight on how it mentally feels being on the road, like this video and subscribe to keep up with this crazy little journey we call the RV life, and we will see you in the next adventure.